Hey there, welcome to LSAT Demon Daily. I'm Eric Johansson, teacher and tutor with LSAT Demon. Joining me is Nathan Fox, the co-founder of LSATdemon.com and the weekly podcast Thinking LSAT. We have an email from Erica, who spells her name the correct way, with a K.
Says
I'm not biased on that at all.
All right. It says, question from a rural oldie. Hi. I've been studying with the demon since mid-February, and I don't exaggerate when I say it's been life-changing. Oh, that's nice to hear, Julia. Wait, this is not Julia. Julia was the previous one. This is Erica.
We've been hearing from a lot of Julias lately.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Erica. I'm 35 years old. Oh my God. Okay. Look, I'm 48, and look how young and vibrant I am. You're not an oldie at all. You are perfectly in the wheelhouse for law school. Stop thinking about yourself as being old. You're not even older. Like, you'll be a few years older than the average in your class. It's just not a big deal. Don't lead with that. You're probably just making a joke, but that's not the 10th most important thing about you. So, we just don't need to focus on that.
I apologize, by the way, for not immediately complimenting you on your youthful glow, Nathan. But you are
Thank you.
Positively radiant this morning.
You. It's my skincare routine.
There we go.
All right. I'm 35 years old. My husband works full-time in Michigan, and I live in Southeast Iowa with our 3 young kids. The closest city of over 50,000 people is 90 miles away. Okay, so that is the sticks.
Yeah,
Wow.
You are right about the rural part, if not about the oldie part.
That is extremely rural. Okay. Or as we call it on the coasts, flyover.
That's right.
I turned to law school because there are only a handful of lawyers in our area, few, if any, under the age of 55, with full caseloads. I'm not looking to have a career at a sexy, high-paying law firm. Instead, I want to open a private practice in my small town with pro bono cases on the side. Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
Love this plan. Totally love it. Moving to law school is not an ideal option for my family. I need to attend a law school that can accommodate a rural student with remote or hybrid program options. Love it. According to AmericanBar.org, there are 18 ABA accredited law distance/hybrid programs. While researching, I learned that while St. Mary's Law School has about 277 in their 1L class, it only accepts 25 students to its remote program. Yikes. But that might be because people think they don't want to go remote. You don't know how many people are applying to their remote program, or at least you're not telling us.
True, it's hard to know. And you can be sure that these schools are looking to expand these as well, particularly those like St. Mary's, who are kind of on the forefront of this online revolution in law school. I think they're trying to scale it up.
Hell yeah, they are. Especially once they realize how much more profitable it will be than in person. Building monuments to the current dean in the middle of big cities is not a profitable endeavor. Educating dozens, then hundreds, then thousands of students online is a more profitable way to do law school. Therefore, schools will start doing it that way. So these programs are small right now because it's new, it's uncertain. Students don't want them because they want the law school experience, which is a dumb reason not to do stuff online. They are wary, will employers treat this the same way that they treat in-person JDs? They will. They're not going to care at all. But it's new and it's different. So it's going to take a while. And, bar associations aren't so sure. And it's like taking the American Bar Association, it's taking them a while to figure out how they want to try to accredit these schools. Not that they do any meaningful job of accrediting the poor schools. I mean, if they really were serious, they would be shutting down a lot more law schools than they currently shut down. But putting that aside, the fact that they're small right now just doesn't indicate anything about how hard they are to get into. I don't see anything to be worried about, so I don't really understand that. Yikes. Julia again. Erica continues. Does this mean hybrid programs are more competitive? Will the Demon Scholarship tool be relevant for me? That's an interesting question. I don't think we have information on that. They don't report data yet on scholarships for their online or hybrid programs, do they?
I don't think there's a distinction made on the 509s, no. So they report the number of part-time students they have. I haven't seen yet whether they report the number of online students. I don't think they do. So yeah, it could be tough to know just how accurate the estimator is for these types of programs.
Some law school, though, is going to start totally killing it in online legal education. And that's going to be a big deal. And it is going to grow. And it's there. I imagine that, 10 years after that, they'll get around to changing the 509 reports to break out that information.
Yeah.
I hope to eventually score high enough to be a strong candidate for these programs, but with the limited number of distance programs, no T14 distance programs, and my end goal of practicing in a rural community, are my score goals different from those of the average Demon student? No, because higher is better. And I think that you want to put your best foot forward at the beginning of your law journey with the very best LSAT you can muster. I don't think that changes really based on anything.
Yeah, I think the score that you need to get a good offer from these particular schools that you're looking at, like, there will be differences, but it doesn't change. I don't think you should anchor your goal score based on a particular school. You should strive for the best score that you can. I remember at the beginning of my LSAT journey, I had a goal score in mind before I did anything. I just looked at, hey, what's the median LSAT score at this particular school that's local to me? And that was my goal score. And then I took my diagnostic and it was, I think, one below that median. Right. So I was like, okay, I guess I should adjust my goal score. I think that's how you should be thinking about your goal scores, based on your ability and your potential, not based on particular schools.
Yeah. Erica says, the University of Iowa is 90 miles away, but from what I've heard from recent graduates, U of I seems inflexible with scheduling accommodations for, remote learning, distance learning, taking care of kids. Yeah. With a high enough score, could a hybrid program be negotiated? Well, yeah, anything can be negotiated. I mean, they just might say no. The worst that could happen is they say no. So I would get a great LSAT. I would apply broadly. And then I would try to negotiate. By the way, they hate that word. So don't say negotiate. Say you want to discuss some concerns. Say you want to review their scholarships, review your scholarship. Say anything else, but just don't say negotiate.
You want to ask questions. You want to have a conversation. Yep.
Right. And then they will negotiate with you. They won't acknowledge that they're negotiating, but they will negotiate. And by the way, one of the ways that they might negotiate is say, no, we don't have any scholarships for the hybrid program. Like, we're not doing it. We just don't have that.
I think that Erica might be asking whether the University of Iowa, which does not do hybrid or remote programs,
would they do it just for you?
Invent one for you. I'm doubtful about that. If they're not set up to do it sure, yeah, why not ask the question? But if they're not set up to do it on a system-wide level, I would be highly suspicious.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that, they will immediately be thinking how much of a pain in the ass that would be for all of their old ass professors who don't want to record their classes, definitely don't want to live stream their classes, they think everybody has to be whatever. There will be people who are going to drag their feet right into the 21st century.
I think that is, if anything prevents or significantly slows down the adoption of online learning at law schools, it's going to be that's the same reason why so many companies that went remote during the pandemic are forcing their employees back into the office, right? It's you have middle and upper management who are just dragging their feet on it, who can't figure out how to work Zoom themselves, or who have realized during this period of remote education or remote work that maybe they as managers don't actually do very much if they don't have people on site to micromanage. I think a lot of that informs the decision to force people
I
back
can't
on
have
site.
employees who just do their job without me having a bunch of in-person meetings with them.
Right.
That would be bad for me. So I'm gonna, with law school, it's, I think, more to do with just the laziness and oldness of professors. I think that professors are, ivory tower as it gets.
Mm-hmm.
And they think that, the old way is the only way. And they're just not interested in, they don't want to do any work that they don't have to do. Like, they've got important legal research to do. Teaching is an afterthought to them. And 1Ls especially are an afterthought to them. And are you kidding me? I'm going to record my classes so that a 1L can watch my classes at home? No. If they're not ready to make this a priority, then they're not ready for my law school. And they should just come and they should be in person or not at all. And there's many, like, we're waiting for old people to die, honestly, to make a lot of improvements in the world. So
yeah, I think there could be, there's another reason that comes to mind why there would be pushback against remote learning at these types of institutions. And that has to do with the value of real estate. Maybe this is going to get tinfoil hatty for you, but if you look look up who is on, the board who's on the board for a particular academic institution, or who at a statewide level oversees funding for like a state school system.
Oh, geez. It's like you're people who own downtown real estate that's not the school.
It's real estate developers, and it's financial and people from financial institutions.
Office space that's in the neighborhood.
It's going to hurt my ability to either build or finance the building of that new building that's named for the dean that you mentioned.
That was my first thought, actually, was just like, the schools love to build new skyscrapers because it's a monument to themselves. And of course, they're going to name it after some alumni that they got to donate the money or whatever. But they love just like building more physical infrastructure because it's a way of them showing their greatness.
Well, and it's a way for them to make money if the people who are holding the purse strings are invested in the financing and building of those buildings.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. But it is very possible that the same people who are on those kinds of boards are the people who benefit from skyscrapers being built in the city. That is very likely, actually.
Yeah.
So that could be part of it too. That said, some enterprising schools are going to be just kicking ass. And maybe they do have giant skyscrapers, but they're also going to be selling their program to a much, much larger audience. The market is going to be way huger. Like, if I'm some law school in California, I don't care where I am in California, but I'm realizing, oh my God, my school's in San Diego, but I could be selling to people in the Bay Area. Holy shit.
Or on the other side of the country, if I'm traditionally not attractive to high scorers in other states, but suddenly I could be, hell yeah. What's the downside?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know who the leader is right now in distance learning, but that is something that we'll be tracking on the Thinking LSAT podcast and on LSAT Demon Daily podcasts over the years. I expect that we'll be talking more and more about these distance, online only, or hybrid programs. Anyway, back to Erica. I graduated in 2014 with a 3.61 GPA in elementary education, and my most recent practice test score was a 166.
Great.
So you're an excellent applicant right now, Erica. You could probably get even stronger. Your grades, could be better, but they're not horrific. They're pretty bad for the top 14, but they're, in the conversation elsewhere. With a 166, I just wanted to see what kind of an offer we might get from Iowa. Okay, so Iowa's already showing a possible stipend.
Iowa's pretty generous
with a 3.61 and a 166, but yeah, they might want you to go in person. So you might just have to broaden your net if you're really committed to the idea that you're going to do this online. And for someone who is going to start their own practice in a rural area, there's absolutely no reason why you would need to do this in person. You don't need a prestigious, you just need something that's going to qualify you to sit the Iowa bar. So just make sure that the Iowa bar, I wouldn't even bother applying to schools that the Iowa bar doesn't certify. So like if there's some hybrid program in California or wherever, but the Iowa bar won't recognize it, then no, that's not going to work for you. So maybe talk to the Iowa bar, apply broadly. I would apply to all the hybrid programs. Erica's last line, I can almost hear Nate saying, if you really want this, be willing to do whatever it takes and move your family to get it done, which is fair enough, but I want to consider all options. Thanks for your time, Erica.
I don't know. I like her plan.
I like it too.
Yeah.
I also would look at how much law school costs, and I would look at Iowa, and I would look at how much that stipend's worth. And you're already in the state of Iowa. In fact, you say it's 90 miles away. So you've got 3 young kids. Childcare is expensive, but law school is really expensive. Maybe there are solutions where you could drive, maybe 1L, probably not. 1L, they're going to tell you have to be there 5 days a week. But as soon as 1L's over, it's possible people arrange their schedule so that they only have class 2 days a week sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
It is possible. And so there might be ways that you could make full-time at Iowa work without having to move. Or what about move?
Look for something in Michigan where your husband works. Even if it's, I'm sure a small town in Iowa would be happy to have a lawyer graduated from good school in Michigan.
Yes. Or what about moving closer to University of Iowa? It's 90 minutes now. That's not a fun commute.
Well, 90 miles away.
90 miles, which could actually be 3 hours. Yeah, we don't really know. I just assumed that in that part of the world, it's, 80 miles an hour. But
having driven through Iowa, there is a lot of vast empty stretches of road.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Erica, for writing in. Anything more?
Thanks. No.
Email daily@lsatdemon.com if you'd like to ask us a question or share some LSAT or law school admissions news. Thanks for listening.